Okay guys, in day one we covered how to find the vertex by using the formula x equals negative b over 2a. So then you figure out that answer, you get the answer for x, and then you take your answer, put it back into the normal equation, the original equation, and get your answer for y. So that's how we figured out how to find the vertex. Today what we're doing is we're taking that answer and plugging it into vertex form to be able to write a new equation. So we're taking the answer of the vertex and putting it into vertex form to write vertex form. So if we look at number one, this is standard form. Okay, standard form doesn't have parentheses. It has an a b, and a c. A is the number in front of x squared. So that's a equals 1. B is the number in front of x. That's a 4. And c equals the one that doesn't have x, which is 1. But from here, now what we're going to do, if you look at problem number 2, it looks different. This is not standard form. This one has parentheses. This is not A, this is not B, and this is not C. It doesn't work like that because this is not written the same. So now what we are doing is, from the last video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And now we are finding the vertex and writing it in vertex form. So if you guys ever go to Google, so if we ever went to Google and we put vertex form into Google, vertex form of a quadratic equation, I always look at images. But even if you were just in the main page, actually, if I go back to all, it's right here highlighted. Literally, stay signed out. It's right here. This is vertex form. Y equals a x minus h squared plus k. If you look at the images, I mean, you can grab any picture and it will tell you vertex form. Y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. And that's what we're doing. So I decided to take off the letters A and put a box, H put a box, and K put a box, but that is where you're putting your numbers. Everything else has to stay the same. So you need to put Y equals parentheses x minus parentheses squared plus parentheses. So you got to put all that. So let's go to problem number 1. You are going to find A, B, and C. A equals 1, B equals 4, and C equals 1. And now we need to find the vertex. So just like on the last video, negative b over 2a. Negative, you put b, so that would be 4. On the bottom, 2, and then you put a, which is 1. Okay, you simplify that. Negative and a 4, that just turns to negative 4. And on the bottom, 2 times 1 is 2. What is negative 4 divided by 2? That's negative 2. X equals negative 2. So this is our answer to x. Now we take that answer and you put it back to the original. It has to go back into the original problem. Okay, so I'm just going to write the original equation, x squared plus 4x plus 1. And I'm going to put parentheses in front and behind, in front and behind. And where I see an x, I'm going to put the answer that we got, which is negative 2. So I'm just copying it without x, and now I take my answer. Okay, this answer has to go where x was, so right there. So it's going to go negative 2, negative 2. Now you put all of this in the calculator and it's going to multiply and add for you. You can put it into Desmos, or if you're good at multiplying, you can solve it. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then add 1. So now you're just doing 4 minus 8 plus 1. So that would be negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Y equals negative 3. This is our answer to y. So our vertex, the vertex is at negative 2, negative 3. Now here, this is the x and this is the y, but we actually are going to change their name to h and k. Why do we do that? Because the equation already has x and y, and we don't want to get it confused. You guys are not going to put this number in x, no. And you're not going to put this number in y, no, even though it is an x and a y. It's actually going to go in these two empty boxes in the back. So this one is h and this one is k. All right, and what letter goes in the front? The A. Where do you get the A from? From the beginning. What number did we say A was? A 1. So those are the three answers you're using. A is a 1, H is a -2. It doesn't matter that there's a minus already, you still need to put negative, and K is -3. And now you just have to clean it up. We don't want to have X minus minus 2. So the answer is 1. X, when you have two minuses, they turn into a plus. And then in the back right here, plus minus, we don't want to have that. If you have a positive and a negative, it's still negative, -3. And this would be your final answer for vertex form. And this is the vertex, okay? So they're very different. This is vertex form. You can graph it. So I would graph it. The one that you're graphing is the vertex. This is the one that goes onto the graph, -2, -3. -2 is left and -3 is down. And now is it a U or is it upside down? How do you know? You go back to A. If this number's positive, it's a U. If it's negative, it's upside down. Well, it's +1, so it's just regular U. So I'm going to go back to here and just do a regular U. And now you have a pretty good graph and idea of how to do number 1.